This is a very difficult situation for me. Oh, I'm too exposed. Hold on. I put up this morning, I said, I am the Bengal tiger crouching hidden on one side overseeing wall of water issues. I was like, on the other, I am an orangutan, or I put up orangutan for the more the more mobile, I suppose, bipedal. They're better at bipedal movement on two extremities. And then there's the white lily of the valley. That's how they come. Many bells, because I have a requirement of life and purpose and safety of many at the same time and moving on the same stem, so they don't get hurt and they are aware. And then it's like walking on ice when there are cracks. You gingerly step each way, and you distribute the weight so it holds and they don't anger nor hurt one another, especially in strange lands. Most strange to them, especially when they're called upon for an order of the most hard to describe help needed on a taken case that does not fit a prowess that is a human issue. It is a God issue. And so it's a God of systems. And then I put up the navel orange, the tiger lily, the orange lily from the Asiatics, for the Polynesian, Indonesian. Actually, Polynesian I use more for, I think, my Caribbean side. The Malaysian, Indonesian is on my Russia side of people and prowess. That is why it is difficult. They have been using, there's a wind walker. I am a wind walker. I am not a wind stalker. I am a wind walker. I am a white walker as well. I have circadia and circadian requirement. WOLFEN knows these things. They're quiet, whatever. And then there is a partnership between a WOLFEN and between a ZWOLF, which is myself. I'm the alpha of the WOLFEN. And then there is a non-WOLFEN who does not transmit signal by the Maori genetic as I do. So they are my protectors, and then we work together for the protection of the wolf subcommittee of protectors of all different, and then they help with the land humans and their humanness and making sure the humanness does not corrupt one another and does not take things that are not theirs and does not steal people and their children's or move them or move information to hide things from no matter other people. Makes the WOLFEN sub-community very nervous when the committee that they were relying on will not move and now becomes extortion. And it's extortion because they hold ZWOLF, the High of WOLFEN, in a locked position where I had a nice life in the wind elsewhere. They lost communication with this one sun solar system. I am the sun always, S-U-N. What they did was they took my sun over there, the female sun, and they looped something around and pulled it into your cosmic nursery of I'm the sun still in a woman-looking uniform. These are things that we don't really talk about on the surface, but the ancients, the most, let's think about this, to reestablish communications with the living human, the captains. See, the way it was is it was always the land folks. Let's say in my Thailand, no, I have an island that is somewhere in the Malaysian, it's a, it's a archipelago, is what we called them. So they could, it was not mainland, so it was hard to, that was their security. All right, so now they are there, and sometimes we use them as a lower form children of communication. Sometimes we give them, if the land folks, if the communication, if the words with the management gets too muddy, sometimes we'll take a lesser known or lesser spoken to with a lower vocabulary, maybe an island child, just for a moment, for a day, to ask to meet with, and then bring, obviously, but with permission. Who wants to take other people's children? That's against the law. So the land people, I know in like the area of wherever they are today is somewhere like Lower China, like high, but it's a low Chinese genetic, but they're higher than the other land people. Is that my Vietnam? I am not sure. It's somewhere in the vicinity of, they're not quite sure what to call themselves anymore because they've been moved. And I think that's part of the equipment issue, as I have been moved. So let me think about this. Okay, so the way that it is that if I have two separate, like the low Chinese have learned from the high Chinese that they are better. Right, it annoys the other land tenants because they're like, well, you're just you and I'm just me. I get that you're like now management because you're Chinese, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's how that goes in that argument. So when that breaks out, so there's no war, it's usually the warrior, well, it's the mariner that comes first. That is the godly folk. They're the ones that don't look like typical land folk for that area. They call the US whatever. The mariner comes, he meets with the land peoples, they do whatever and try to settle the disputes in amnesty. Where that's why the disparaging between we look totally separate. When I come, you know my people are not your people. They are totally, they don't come with the same, that one of you is better than the other. They just don't. That's the way it's worked for thousands of years. Then if there's a problem with my white mariners that travel, then we send the warrior. But he is not the color of this. He is something else. He is, we say, paint that does not wash off. And that's when the land peoples are usually like, no, you don't have to send him. We are okay. No. Right, because we speak highly of the warrior, and we try to keep everything amicable at amnesty with words. And with a differential strictly of on site, you know, I am not the same. But there has to be some, what happened is there's been equipment moval for, I don't know how, it's some of the children's, they're all mixed. Now they're all mixed on ships, they're all wanting metal, they're all wanting their own ship. I've got drug cartel, I've got an M5 issue off the coast of Mexico with this, it used to be somebody special for my folks that travel to settle land disputes, and then they're children's of the, say, Vietnam looking, mixed with a little sumo chunkiness of Korean, and then a little something else in there, whatever, right? They all mixed up together, and they met in like a Central America with some drug cartel money, and then they started like hustling warrior stuff, and I don't know why nobody relied on their sacred warrior to put an end to that real quick. That is what they are there for, before they gain metal and ships. I mean, the warrior is really smart. You tell him right away, he's like, we're not going to allow that. Great, me neither. Help me. It's a much better relationship than the extortion and the contortion you've been playing with leadership. And then let's think about this. And that's how you know the difference, but you also have, I mean, it's a set system. It was a safe system at one point. I don't know what the hell you all did. But I see posted on my thing that there's an MV, that is the Mexican drug cartel. It is not White City. And they put on a flag. They looks like the Vatican Pope. Right. And my name is whatever. So then we've got... there's somebody specials right there, and let me tell you something. There's somebody specials, warrior. I think those are your peoples. Not kidding. Those are your cartographer, the Congo, whatever car business you got going on, and vitrification. That's how you lost star communication, and then you sucked her back in through a spy program, and then you made her life a living hell. So let's think about this. So the Car region of Congo, I got the Bethesdas and the it's Bethesda and the Brunhilde in the other section. So you guys don't travel by boat. Neither one of you wanted the kids to have boats, and then you're like giving them money. You're like, come on, like what else do you want to do? Right? Did you not you lost star communication, that's clear. And then it became like, what do you mean I can't have bullets? Well, see, there's a thing with the unwritten rule about why we don't give you guys medal when you ask the question why. Because if the god and the warrior agreed, there's a reason, and the land peoples, if they want to remain alive. Right. So, let's think about this. Then I have the crazy idiots in the Korean Chinese corridor on, now that they've got boats and they've got managers of the same. Now I have corruption, extortion. They're getting the sumo Korean kids with the darker whatever over in the central corridor of the Suez Canal-ish. And then they're like going through the Suez Canal-ish, and Dromidary's been telling you this is not something new. And then they're collecting and harvesting the metals, and they're going right past the warrior, because they're like, right, I don't know, why ask him, and if Dromidary is not, they're like slowly but surely fanning that, I say that fan, DATPHAN, hello Thailand, and they're going out. It's like, so you're in the boats and hoe section, right? The ho, yeah, I got it. Saint Nick on this one, even though I'm the light one. And then I got Santa Claus on his side. I'm Saint Nick, but the white one, and he's Saint Lieutenant from my Lucy Lute. All right, so now, and the lute being a flute. So the lute actually, right, I guess that worked out. So let's think about this. All right, so now the Windwalker, what happens is it communicates, we used to say, with the wind. And then it updates the Dromidary second by second for the Watcher of the Day to then send out my Lily of the Valley flower bells. So they go out on the same safe, walking on ice, so they don't slip or like step too heavy and then go through the ice. Right, this is how it's like levers and levers in the Lily of the Valley feature. Let me think about this. So that is how I keep my warrior safe, because it's the capitulate B. I call you Brown, because it's an ownership between the top and the bottom bell, and then the one that sends and the one that is sent, and then it comes back into the wind, and the wind holds onto it safely at the tiger lily, or the like the whatever. It goes to the lily of the valley bells, and then it goes back to the tiger lily, and it goes into the vault of protection for the warrior, the woman white walker, and then we essentially then have to communicate with the mariners and let them know what we need for amnesty and peace treaty and the policing with the vice. Now, that's why I don't let the USSs on their medal ships, if they're not the color of a mariner, they're not allowed to go in the water. Because then they go out in the water, they have games, they play all sorts of fun stuff, they get together, they sail together, like, oh, we're going to battle with whom? The land peoples are having problems, and you're all playing out on the water. I got sandy mariners somewhere holding guns going, are you ever going to get the guys off the water? Like the ones that actually fix things, like that scare the children, because the children don't look very scared. Right, yeah, I noticed they don't like to move now that they've got these TVs and video games. Same shit that they're moving the daily schedules around without Wolfenstein's approval. Which is why when the, I don't mind small ships like the catamaran. There's a name why I'm Catarusa, right? It's catamaran because it's paddles and oars or the wind sail, or sometimes small motor so they don't go too far, so they don't travel and hurt people. They run out of gas, and then the U.S. Coast Guard goes, now what were you up to? Who do you belong to? So that's how that one works. And like they're all integrated into the larger problem Dromidary's been saying through Wolfenstein. I mean, I need protection since I'm the one who was taken from my star system home of something different and stuck into your humanness. I mean, I'm much more effective when I'm not held hostage in the Americas by the MV Navy and the U.S. somebody special Navy. And my mariners are somewhere on one of the ships. I don't know which one. I don't know how many you left alive or even gave sailing rights to. And then I got the children's on the lands. Now, they're collecting metal, but they're also moving stuff. Like, so you got this aviation industry. It's another headache because you're defying the laws of gravity, and I don't like the land peoples to be able to have that much fluidity in movement without process and without the rest of the equipment being secured. I don't know why it has been so hard. I've been saying this since 1980s when I first reported my arrival and my takenness, but I didn't know the words. I said, I'm different than they are. I said, I mean, they have a name of Gundar, but they say it's just New York. Is there a larger name that they needed? And the internationals the Wolfensteins didn't even have a name of a larger area than a New York state. They had no country name. I'm like, okay. There was no U.S.A. There was no America. There was no name. So that's the first Wolfenstein set of conversations with whoever was calling me back on the phone from my home territory. They just wanted to get me back, and they were afraid, what do we say to her? What Like, what instructions do we even give? You know, like, we know on our end, but we have no idea. I mean, how are we gonna, right, if they cut the phone, oh, God forbid. Right, I mean, the phone lines have been down, so. And then the memory issue, because they're playing around with Dromidary now they funded themselves in some mass sexual orgy on something called a Wall Street that is a NSAD and SEC, but that is their banking of coin, which then they think they're something special themselves on the land, and then it's a real problem with golf courses and days and schedules that never get anything fixed because they're out having too much fun in the fun. Right, I got an OAR, OAR, and you guys are up Schitt's Creek without any paddles. And the U.S. Somebody Special and the Mexican drug cartel, ship number 5, that you all somehow erroneously got yourselves onto, right? How are we, and then I got a whole like they go under the water, so they say, but again, you don't have calendar dates or an approval because you didn't call Ender. I'm Dromidary, I'm the Ender Man, I'm the Ender Woman. Ender Man is missing his Ender Woman at Dromidary level, and we did not give permission for metal, for movement of any kind. And we definitely did not give out U.S. patent for any of this new management you painted yourselves. In fact, I don't even know how to find management because you've disconnected systems so badly with a click of a mouse with people. Like, here's the thing. I know for a fact that when they stopped letting land inspections and amnesty safely of the white collar come on land in, say, China or Korea, I know that they were vying for ship. They wanted ship and air. I think somehow, I don't know how it broke out, because I think they put a pause on my people without communication to take advantage. I don't know where I was. I think I was working probably Dromidary, or I was in a whole separate place outside of this one sun solar. I was a sun somewhere else. Let's think about this. All right, so that is that, and then, but then they brought the box, like that. Lewis had a box. They called it the computer box, the light box, which I couldn't understand what's the point of it. I don't keep papers. I don't keep files. Now, I just thought of this morning. I put that star key in, and then I don't know what happened to his computer. I don't know if how do you get rid of a computer, and did somebody steal the parts? I don't know how that works. But the thing is that that's why we don't want land people having light work equipment. There's no point. Read books and talk to each other. Like, we'll give you service jobs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do we need so many TVs? And I mean, TV is one thing, but so much, and then a keyboard is really the problem. I put up this morning the Treasure Cat, and then it's like a wall of keyholes. That's what I sit, and the keys were stolen. What? Yeah, okay, give me a second. And the keys were stolen. That is the TFRO. Oh, and I also thought this morning, my son is Daniel Lee Romer. That's to the Korean Jew shitbag Jason Peter Romer that you had me raped by in this taken and held hostage against my will. Now, Daniel is born September 12th, 2003. And I have a feeling, knowing the Asians as well as I do, when the Department of Birth Certificate hit the New York State Registry, they somehow wanted to use that between Dromidary and whatever to say that they had some form of approval and document. No, that was a death warrant for the Eurasias into the Africa and into Latin America, because I don't know who's working and who is not. And that also goes up to Canada. But I know that the majority of the Asians move dangerous from the communications they attained somehow over in and are abusing over in the Asiatics. Let me think about this. And I think that's the end of this transmission for now.